Good morning, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining. Today is December 20th, 2024, Friday. Before we start actually taking a look at the charts, I do want to take a look at the economic calendar here. So coming into today, we have core PCE price index, and that was released at 8:30. And we have revised consumer sentiment. Consumer sentiment has usually been a red folder news. I'm not completely too sure why consumer sentiment isn't a red folder news here, or considered a red folder news, but I'm going to treat it as a red folder news. Yeah, it's usually a red folder news, but I'm not too sure why it's changed to to an orange folder. But yeah, so that's the news that we have coming into today. Our daily objective today was actually for us to take out previous day low. So this candle right here is the current daily candle. I want to take a look at the previous daily candle for my bias coming into today, right? So the previous daily candle, notice how we created a bearish daily power of 3, but we closed above the second fair value gaps candles low. Because we closed above it, we could end up retracing back inside this fair value gap. However, based on this daily candle, it's bearish, and I can anticipate for us to at least take out the previous day low here, and quite possibly even December 18th low as well. So December 19th low was my objective coming into today, and if we continue to have an expansion lower, December 18th low and the equilibrium of the higher time frame dealing range was also going to be my objective coming into today. So whenever we accomplish those two objectives, or three objectives at least, coming into today, I no longer have a bias here on the daily time frame. So now, after the daily time frame has completed its objective, I would now go on to maybe the 12-hour time frame, 10-hour time frame, 8-hour time frame, 6-hour time frame, 4-hour time frame. I'm going to go on to those time frames relative to the daily. So notice how I'm going from the daily to maybe like the 4-hour time frame, right? I'm not going from the daily bias to 1 minute bias. There's too much of a discrepancy between those two time frames, right? But yeah, that's kind of what I have coming into today, at least. But now, based on the hourly time frame, based on the 4-hour time frame and the 8-hour time frame, which is about to close in about 25 minutes or so. Based on how we are looking right now, I can anticipate for us to trade higher here, at least on the 4-hour time frame and the 8-hour time frame, right? So notice this is the 8-hour candle, or 8-hour candles, and notice how it looks like we could possibly create this 8-hour fair value gap, right? Based on this idea here, right? Are we going to close above or below this black line? And this black line is the second fair value gap candle's low. Are we closing above this black line, or are we going to close below this black line? And then with the way we are, looking like right here, we are actually trading above the black line, and we could possibly end up closing above this black line. What does this mean? What does this translate to? This translates to me believing and me anticipating for us to rebalance this 8-hour fair value gap, at least for this, upcoming 8 hours, right? So if we were to close right now on this 8-hour candle, my bias coming into for the next 8-hour time frame is for us to rebalance this inefficiency. So we're probably going to open up somewhere here, trade into some lower time frames, displacement, fair value gap, whatever, and then rebalance this inefficiency. After we rebalance this inefficiency, I care not. For what we do, we could respect it, we could disrespect it, I don't care. The only thing that I'm caring about is that we could possibly rebalance the inefficiency, and that's basically entirely what I'm looking for that in that 8-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, the same thing is being suggested as well. This 4-hour candle is suggesting that we could possibly take out the 4-hour high and maybe get a complete, or maybe for us to rebalance this 4-hour fair value gap a little bit more. But this 4-hour fair value gap has been rebalanced already. We traded up into that daily, or we traded up into that 4-hour fair value gap and then started to trade even lower again. But I did draw out from this swing high to this swing low. That is actually a 4-hour dealing range. So from that swing high, that swing low, there's a dealing range. One thing I do want to take a note at is that we could possibly trade back up into the premium level of this dealing range, which we haven't done yet. We haven't done that yet. So this is a possibility here as well. So, the daily bias was for us to take out previous day low. Let's take a look at the 3-day time frame. 2-day time frame. Yeah, the 2-day objective was for us to take out that 2-day low. We ended up doing that. We had a market structure shift like I showed on my Discord and I told you guys about yesterday. And if you guys watched yesterday's live stream, you guys would have noticed that I was in a live trade here, and I shorted at the overlapping of previous week's low and a 4-hour fair value gap. So the reason why I took an entry at where this black line is, previous week's low, is because it's the idea that resistance or support turned resistance, but into basically ICT concepts. There's a reason why retail traders are, it's more specific to they compare to like retail knowledge of support turn resistance, right? There's a reason for us to trade lower here. So for me to I was willing to take this entry at the overlapping between this 4-hour fair value gap and previous week's low. And my stop loss was actually at the 2-day immediate rebalance, because I wasn't anticipating for prices to not create a 2-day fair value gap. I was anticipating for prices to create a daily, or I was anticipating for prices to create a 2-day fair value gap. So that means I don't want to see a immediate rebalance on the 2-day time frame. So that's where I had my stop loss at. My target here coming to this trade was, or for the model at least, for the overall model, was for us to, attack the discount level here. And the discount level is actually my, higher time frame objective for that previous day trade, right? And there was actually a model present too yesterday, because I'm not too sure, but my broker, Trade08, they actually close off all positions at like 4 p.m. Eastern time or something like that. So I moved my stops to break even at that time, and I wasn't even too sure if I was going to get, if, the broker was going to close the positions on me or not. So I just moved my stops to break even here, and I believe I was like somewhere here. I believe I got stopped out somewhere here, and not stopped out, but they just closed the positions on me. I ended up taking like half of the profits that I was kind of aiming for. But yeah, there was an actual model here that presented itself on yesterday whenever we opened up for the daily candle, right? So at 6 p.m. Eastern time, like I said before, the daily objective here for today at least, right, was for us to take out this daily low. This daily low is the objective, and notice how the daily low is in alignment with this 4-hour low, right? So that means I'm anticipating my higher time frame objective, right? If you guys watched yesterday's live stream, is still for us to retrace back inside this discount level. So, and this daily candle here is in confluence with that, you know, higher time frame objective. And if you guys go back to what I was talking about, the 2-day model, how the 2-day power of 3 suggested that we are going to take out the 2-day low. So the 2-day low is a completely separate low than the daily low. And this kind of calls for an expansion model and a discount model, right? I'm aiming to go short to go into discount, to trade into discount, and I'm also trading short to expand towards liquidity. So, like I said before, the objective here, you guys are going to see this on my 1-hour chart, but you're going to see 2-day low and previous day low. All right, so because the daily low is in alignment with the 4-hour low, I'm able to take this model on based off of the 4-hour time frame, right? Because the daily low and the 4-hour low are the same, so it's kind of like a scope. You're able to zoom in a little bit closer because there's time frame alignment. So now, based on this 4-hour candle here, what can we anticipate based on this 4-hour candle? Are we going to take out the 4-hour candle's low, or are we going to take out the 4-hour candle's high? Simply based off of that idea, right? I can anticipate for previous day low to be taken and that 4-hour low to be taken. So now I'm going to go onto the lower time frames relative to the 4-hour time frame for an entry pattern, and my entry pattern is a fair value gap. So on the 1-hour time frame, so notice how I went from daily to the 4-hour to the 1-hour. I didn't go from daily to the 1 minute, right? There's no correlation there. I went from daily, 4-hour, 1-hour. That's extremely important. So on the 1-hour time frame, which is the time frame I'm going to look for an entry pattern, there is displacement, right? There is this fair value gap here on the 1-hour time frame. And what does fair value gap mean? It means there's displacement. There's something the markets is telling us that it's willing and showing us there is strength to the downside. So whenever prices opens up at 6 p.m., notice how this 1-hour fair value gap is a fair value gap that could be rebalanced. So whenever prices trades into this 1-hour fair value gap, I'm going to take my entry. My stop loss is at the 1-hour high here, because I'm not anticipating for prices to disrespect this 1-hour fair value gap if we're going to be bearish, right? So we trade up into this 1-hour fair value gap. I take my entry, and then I'm targeting previous day low. After we take out previous day low, I move my stops to break even, and I let my runners go, right? Because we could see previous day or we could see the 2-day low get taken, and remember the higher time frame objective that I was talking to you guys about, that discount level. I'm gonna leave my runners for that discount level as well. And if you guys take a look at what happened on after that, we trade up into that 1 hour fair value gap, we take out previous day low, we take out the 2-day low, and we retrace back into the discount level of the weekly dealing range. So backtracking a little bit here, going over it again. What was my higher time frame objective? My higher time frame objective was, like I said, I wanted to see prices retrace back inside discount here. What did we do? Draw up the discount, or sorry, take this swing low to this swing high, draw out the dealing range, got my discount level. So now I have a weekly order flow, right? Weekly order flow is bearish. My model here is based off of the daily time frame, based off of this daily candle, right? That's what my trade is based off of. And notice how it's also in confluence with the 2-day model. So the 2-day candle, this 2-day candle right here that closed, also suggested lower prices. So weekly order flow, daily model. However, the daily model, you can say this, daily model, so weekly order flow, daily model. But notice, like I said before, that daily model, that daily low is the same low as a 4-hour candle. So I'm gonna say for the daily model is essentially the same thing as the 4-hour model. And after the model, right, it's my entry pattern. So now I get to go from the 4-hour time frame, because the 4-hour time frame, low is the same low as the daily low. So keep in mind that again, now I'm able to go to the 1 hour for my entry pattern. Alright, so, and this is present on every single time frame. Sometimes this could be, 1 hour, 1 hour order flow, 15-minute model, 1 minute entry pattern. This model occurs on every single time frame, right? And order flow, higher time frame objective, they go hand in hand. They're the same terminology for me, at least that's how I use it. But yeah, the weekly model is already suggesting lower prices. So all I'm doing is rephrase that. The weekly order flow is already suggesting lower prices. All I'm doing here is trying to find a model, a time frame that's relative to the weekly time frame in order to get a model, right? So like I said before, reiterating this again, weekly model. I'm now going on to the daily model. After finding out that the daily model is essentially the same thing as the 4-hour model, I'm able to go onto the 1 hour time frame to find an entry pattern. And that's essentially what my model is. I take this, the trades that I take are consistent, right? I'm aiming for consistency. They have the same blueprint for every single trade that I take. It's just the only thing that might be a little bit different is the time frames that I'm using. So sometimes, like I said before, I could be taking my trade based off of the hourly objective, right? The hourly order flow. I'm taking, so a time frame that's relative, that's lower time frame relative to the hourly time frame is the 15-minute time frame, right? So I go from hourly order flow, 15-minute model. Going from the 15-minute model, I would go then onto the 1 minute entry pattern. And yeah, that's essentially that's all I'm really looking for. We have about 9 minutes left, or 8 minutes left here for the closure of the 4-hour candle and the 8-hour candle. So the reason why I'm not trading with the narrative of, I'm not basing my idea here for higher prices. So like notice how on the weekly time frame it's still suggesting lower prices, right? But we have already completed the weekly time frame as of right now. We closed on the weekly candle today, so on Monday we'll have a new weekly objective. But because we already completed the weekly objective, then I would go on to the daily time frame for my bias, right? For my order flow. Well, we have already completed our daily objective. We took out the daily low, we took out the 2-day low, and we already retraced back into discount. So I can't use the daily time frame for my bias or my order flow anymore, right? So I'm going to go on to the 12-hour time frame, 8-hour time frame, 6-hour, 4-hour, right? So now, like I said, I can have a morning objective here, based, like I said before, based on this 4-hour candle, based on this 8-hour candle. I can see higher prices. That's what it's suggesting to me. So even though that, the weekly time frame is suggesting lower prices, I can kind of not negate that idea, but I'm able to be flexible because time frames are fractal. Every single time frame is going to have an objective. As long as you understand what the objective is, then you'll be able to find models everywhere, right? But like, let's say I take a long here. Let's say I take a long because 4-hour candle or 4-hour order flow, 8-hour order flow is bullish, right? And I'm able to find a model, I'm able to find an entry pattern. My target for this long trade, so it isn't going to be like previous day high or like all-time highs, right? I'm not going to be I'm not taking something like this because of a 4-hour order flow, right? 4-hour order flow is only suggesting bullish for to attack 4-hour high. The 4-hour time frame isn't suggesting us we're going to completely take out all-time highs, right? There's no correlation there. So you have to understand what your objective is whenever you're going to go onto different time frames, right? So the objective here for the 4-hour time frame here, this 4-hour candle is for us to take out the 4-hour candle's high and possibly retrace back inside the dealing range, the 4-hour dealing range, or not discount but premium. And yeah, that's essentially basically all I have for my bias and objective coming into this morning. But I would say that's, yeah, we have not entirely too sure if there's anybody on the YouTube chat. Let's see. I haven't really checked out the chats, to be honest. Let's see here if there's anybody on the chat. Here, a minute. So we had one viewer here for we we had one viewer here for about like 7 minutes. That's what it said. No one has said anything yet in chat, so all good, all good. About 4 minutes left till, or 3 minutes actually. 3 minutes left till the 10 o'clock open. Very, very interesting. Let's see if we have RTH gap. Where are we going to open it, Brown? What are we going to open it, Brown, man? What are we going to open it, Brown? Oh yeah, one thing I do want to mention too, I forgot, is actually the weekly candlestick, right? The weekly TGIF setup. Notice how we expanded a ton not even this past week, we just expanded a ton on FOMC day. I did not anticipate a 1,000-point move on Wednesday. That's a ton of points, right? And us trading lower here and expanding that much, you're probably going to tend to get some sort of retracement, right? And TGIF is essentially, so NQ, we created that opens right here, we manipulated higher, we created the high of the week, and in Wednesday we expanded. Wednesday and Thursday we expanded a lot, and we ended up creating the low of the week here Friday morning, and now we're having some sort of retracement. This retracement is natural. It's normal for us to have it on a Friday, right? Because if you're thinking in terms of open low high close or open high low close, the candle isn't going to be continuing to expand lower and lower, right? Candles have a tendency to trade back into its range, and essentially what TGIF is us trying to catch that move higher here in this case. Because we expanded so much, because we expanded lower, we can anticipate some sort of retracement higher here, back inside the dealing range or back inside the candlesticks range, right? And this 0.2 to 0.3 level is essentially what the TGIF range is. ICT introduces that, I did introduce that, but he never taught it in a way where I can understand it. But here, that's another possible reason why prices could continue higher here, or for us to see higher prices here, is to trade back inside that TGIF range, right? So here we're about to close in about 1 minute, or not even 1 minute, 10 seconds. And based on this 15-minute candle here, and based on this 4-hour candle, I can anticipate for higher prices. So let's take a look at what happens. Where did my candle go? What? I'm so confused. Did we just stop trading? We should be somewhere like right here right now. Okay, am I? I am not tripping, am I? Did the charts just stop trading?
We stop with the self.
Okay, I don't know what
if we did adult weeks instead? Think about it. Instead of laying in bed and rotting away, we literally.
Dicky Mo, you just answered a question out of me racked using the 10 a.m. 4-hour candle. Yeah, let's see. Now it's open. So I like to just look at that stat map with the 15-minute. And I click the 4-hour and the daily for some levels. So let's see. The 4-hour. Okay. It opened here. That's why the 10 a.m. open. Yeah. Manipulation potential here. So if we're gonna go lower, would like it to sort of manipulate. Maybe
I don't know what just happened to my charts, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see if she
that would
has.
line up with some levels.
I don't know why my charts just stopped printing out candles.
The stat map is like taking statistically from like the last. How many candles did I
Let me
put
see
in
if my
my
freaking
settings?
phone's even working as well.
The last 64-hour candles then. Just like statistically how
Okay, I actually
different
stopped.
levels
I don't have any more. I don't
Or
know
they
what
could
just
be
happened.
compared to
Literally
the
at 9:30 we just stopped printing candles.
I really like that actually.
Alright, I don't know what just happened.
Yeah, let's see. Let's do 1 minute on NQ. I said stop changing time frames, but a big part of how I trade is looking at different time frames. Being it they're in confluence or not. That's crazy, bro. All I want for Christmas is you. Yo, you guys, oh my gosh. Yeah, I got all my Christmas shopping done basically for my brother. And I'm like, okay, I have
actually
expensive
don't know what just
chocolate
happened.
truffles
Why
from
did I
Switzerland
just
that I
stop
can give
getting
them.
faking?
But
Right.
also, I do have time to figure something out better. So, what do you gift to 28-year-old man? He's a hardware engineer, like electrical engineer. Last year I gave him like a tie with what are they called? I don't know. Electrodes on them. Tie with circuits on them. You know what? He should have worn that. Maybe it would be cool if he wore that for his dissertation.
Okay, maybe it's just me.
He got his PhD 2 years ago. I'm very happy, you guys. I'm so lucky. I have an older brother that got his PhD in electrical engineering, and then is works for like one of the big tech companies right in Silicon Valley. Because while I was learning how to day trade, you know, I have a degree in just a bachelor's in biomedical engineering, but I wasn't doing anything with it at the time when I was learning how to day trade, really, because it was
Yeah, I actually don't know what
really
just
hard to
happened
find a
the
job.
charts.
Essential personal.
I guess we're just
only
gonna
in
take a look
hospitals
at
and clinical research.
the
That's
NQ
what I
chart.
wanted to do.
Okay, I don't want to listen to her. Alright, yeah, so based on the 4-hour candle here, I can anticipate for the next 4-hour candle here to take out this 4-hour candle's high, right? And notice how that 4-hour candle's high is in the same high as the 8-hour high. And what is this 8-hour candle suggesting? For us to rebalance this 8-hour fair value gap. So higher prices is what I want to see coming into this morning. But let's see, take a look at the 15-minute time frame. Alright, so we just completed the 4-hour objective there. I didn't even notice that I stopped printing charts or printing candles. And it's so funny. What happened to my NQ things? Well, but yeah, so morning objective has been completed. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. Don't know what happened to MNQ. My phone's not working either, so yeah, we're gonna just have to deal with that for right now. Let's take a look at some of the positives and negatives here from last week and what we can improve on. So last week I was able to practice that. I was able to, answer this question where every single trade, right, I ask myself, why should prices continue to go lower or higher, right? I always require some sort of higher time frame objective. That being To expand to take liquidity, that could be a higher time frame objective. To generate liquidity, that could be a higher time frame objective. Rebalance inefficiencies, same idea. And to retrace back into equilibrium. So retrace back into equilibrium is essentially trading back into discount or premium, depending on if you're longing or shorting. To rebalance inefficiencies is whenever prices are suggesting us to, trade back into a fair value gap or not trade back into a fair value gap. Generating liquidity is something that you do not want to be a part of. That's just a fancy version of consolidation. Prices, creating this sort of movement, creating highs, lows. That's generating liquidity. That you don't want to be a part of that. But to expand and take liquidity is kind of what I kind of went over today with that. The 2-day low, the 2-day candle is suggesting lower prices, right? And this daily candle right here is suggesting lower prices. But notice how the daily candle, the 1-day candle, the 1 day's candle's low is separate, is different from the 2-day candle's low. So after we take out the daily low, we could expand towards the 2-day low to continue to go lower. So I asked myself that question, why should prices be continuing lower or higher on every single time I take a trade, right? Second thing is being completely fine and patient and understanding and grasping that concept that I don't control the markets control themselves. Whatever algorithm controls it, I don't care. The only thing that I care about is what am I in control of, right? And I'm in control of my risk management. I'm in control of the strategy that I use. I'm in control of the models that I take, right? So that's the only thing that I should be focused on. Third is to grasp the fact that the results, whether it being a winning trade or a losing trade, it shouldn't matter to me. The only thing that should matter is, was I able to execute on the strategy that I created for myself? Was I able to follow the rule sets that I created for myself, right? Did we have displacement on the time frame, on the lower time frames? Do we have a higher time frame objective? And do we have some sort of model for us to be in alignment with that higher time frame order flow, right? If I answered no to at least one of those questions, I'm not taking the trade. And if I answered yes to every single one of those questions, then that's like a go sign for me to take that trade. The last thing here is the positives here is that I was able to pay attention to SMT and understand that every swing high and swing low, every single significant swing high and swing low. So like this right here is a significant swing high. It's right. That little top right there is a significant swing high. Every single one of those are going to be accompanied with SMT between the indices. And going to the negatives here, I have a trouble with over-analyzing and kind of like psyching myself out on taking certain trades because I'm constantly trying to, I was constantly trying to find a reason not to take a trade. But if everything checks out, displacement, higher time frame objective, the model's present, then I'm just gonna have to take it. The model's there, the trade's there. All I have to do is click the button, and I have to work on the fact that just constantly build confidence with taking a model, and practice good, consistent risk management. Sometimes there will be times where I risk the right amount. Sometimes I don't risk the right amount. Not too sure why I do that, but consistent risk management is something that I need to work on. So improvements here for next week. consistent models requiring the same thing for every single model that I take or trade that I take. A higher time frame objective. Is there displacement on the lower time frames? If there is, good. Aligning time frames correctly. So this goes back to that question, like, are you gonna go from the weekly order flow onto the 1 minute structure, 1 minute entry pattern? No, you're gonna go from the weekly onto the daily, daily onto the 4 hour, 4 hour onto the 1 hour, and then etc. Second, paying close attention to SMT. When there is SMT at certain swing highs and swing lows, or target highs or target lows, then consider not taking the trade at all. Third, take every single opportunity that you are presented with. Build conviction and confidence in your strategy and trades. Practice consistent risk management. So I should be risking the same thing in every single trade. And yeah, I don't know why we just stopped printing candles here for me. I seriously don't know what just happened, but yeah, maybe it's just telling me that I should log off the charts or something, but I'm gonna choose, or I'm gonna have ChatGPT actually create a quote for me. Daily motivational. Alright, so yesterday's was you have power over your mind. So there's things that you don't have control over, and there are things that you do have control over. External events, things that happen to you, like it's raining outside. That's something that you can't control. What you can control is how you react to, is how you react to it, right? Are you gonna be freaking sleeping all day and just wasting time because the rain? That's an option that you have. That's something that you can control, or can you just use that rain to your advantage, have a more calmer, more peaceful study time? It's up to you, but yeah, this is essentially the idea that you should only put an energy on what you can control and accepting what you cannot control. So today's quote is waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be, and just be one. Waste no more time urges you to stop procrastinating or overthinking about ideals. Arguing about what a good man should be suggests that excessive discussion or theorizing about virtues is unproductive. Action over words. Focus on living virtuously through deeds rather than debating. This quote inspires taking immediate action towards self-improvement, resonating with the Stoic value of practical wisdom, phronosis. Thank you, Professor Chat. And that is going to be oh my goodness, is that Brother Peter? Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching. That's gonna be all for today, and until next time, peace out.